So you make an ill-advised sequel, and then you title it Never Go Back? I mean, come on. You're just asking for it.
Ma'am, these men are here to transfer you.
Who are they? Reacher?
These men are here to kill you.
Soldier, you know who I am.
You've been relieved of command, ma'am.
No time.
I'm being held here without cause. It is your right to capture. That soldier was under my command.
We don't have time for this.
I left explicit orders for you to stay away.
Orders? You ordered me?
Yes, I knew you'd do something like this.
Don't make me regret it.
Jack Reacher Never Go Back is the sequel to the original Jack Reacher, based on a series of books, I believe, about this character, starring once again Tom Cruise as this ex-military guy who always seems to get himself into trouble, but always seems to know how to get out of it as well. Is it worth going back? Here's 5 things you might want to know about Jack Reacher Never Go Back. Before we begin, let me say I actually really liked the first Jack Reacher movie. I was looking forward to a sequel to the movie I saw. Unfortunately, this is a completely different movie and very disappointing. In fact, my first 4 points are all going to be ways that this movie is nothing like the original. Let's start off with this. The mystery isn't satisfying. There's nothing here that is compelling. In the first movie, it was complex and interesting, and you were wondering how it was going to resolve and who was behind what. Here, not only is it obvious and you kind of know what's going on, but what's going on isn't even interesting, so there's nothing to sink your teeth into as far as the mystery is concerned. Another huge difference, and possibly my favorite thing about the first movie, he was invincible in that first movie. Here, he's completely different. Now he's that typical flawed, needs help to get stuff done, has to work through his demons. The thing I loved about Jack Reacher in the original is he always knew what he was doing, and it always worked out for him because he was always one step ahead. I don't feel like that in this movie, and so it takes a little bit of the excitement out of my process of going through it. For number 3, let me just start by asking this. You do eventually have action in your action movie, right? There is so little action in this movie. And the first one was chock full of these amazing and clever action scenes for this character to work his way through. Here, they're just few and far between. I never got a sense of getting into the momentum of the action in this movie. It's there on occasion, and there are brief shining moments where it's interesting, but you just don't get to lay into it in a way that it draws you along with that momentum. And that's a bad thing because at the end of the day, it makes the movie kind of boring. It has a lot of check your watch moments where you're wondering, okay, when do we get to something interesting again? It's not a place you want to be. And here's the thing. Do you know why we're stepping away from all the action in this movie? To build relationships. Now, I'm not opposed to that. That can really work for a movie if they're good relationships. But they're not needed here. You didn't have that in the first one where he had to be tied to all these different people. Maybe in ways to pursue his end goal, but not as a cooperation thing. Kobe Smulders is in this, and their relationship, a lot of time is spent on it, and I don't think it's needed. At one point, he says to her, I usually work alone. And I'm sitting in my seat going, yes, that's what this movie is missing. You need to be working alone. We need to see you conquering these things. Nothing against her, although she really actually isn't that good in this. Nothing against her. But I want to see Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher kicking butt and saving the day. And I'm just not seeing that here because we're spending all this time cooperating with so many other people. I will say, as a lone bright spot in this movie, Tom Cruise is great. Another reason he should have been given more to do. I really like what he does as Jack Reacher when he's given the chance to do it. He is trying his hardest to make this movie work, and he almost succeeds in some points, but even his charisma and his good performance here isn't enough to really bring it up. Overall, I feel like Jack Reacher Never Go Back probably should have listened to its own advice. I can't give it much more than a C-. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. First, if you want to connect more, I would love that. You can check out other reviews, support the channel right here at YouTube. You can just click on the info button. If you want to connect online, I'm on Twitter a bunch, Facebook, Snapchat, anywhere you want to find me, just search for my name, Aaron Dicer, Aaron Dicer. In fact, every week, Tuesday morning usually, I release a poll on Twitter on which movie you want me to review. So I pick one for the week, and then the audience picks one for the week. So to participate in that poll, just follow me on Twitter. And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, it's called SiftPop, SiftPop. You can search for it in your podcast player. We have a great time every week. All right, on to the Best Ever Challenge, where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice. Let's just go big. What is the best Tom Cruise movie ever? This is a good discussion. In fact, we're going to have this discussion on the podcast this week and kind of go through a top 5. But for my number one, I'm going to have to go with the one that if you're playing it, maybe you can control it with your hands. Fast forward, reverse, pause. I don't know exactly how it works. Take a guess at mine in the comments and leave your choice there as well. As always, I'll give you 5 extra seconds to hit subscribe. And don't forget, if you guess mine right first, you do get a point. Just click the logo right down here to subscribe, and you'll be subscribed. It's a really confusing way to say all that, but I think you get the point. Click to subscribe.